everybody. Welcome to the Hustling Sideways podcast. I'm Alan Hallis. I'm a music writer.
And I'm Jim Love, and I'm a keynote and motivational speaker.
And today is episode number 112 of the Hustling Sideways podcast. As you can see, we are all virtual again today. It's a Friday and it's a really busy day. I've been
Mhm.
actually five different places. This is the fifth stop for me today.
Oh my gosh, the fifth stop is
Yeah.
home. Thankfully, you're at your
Yes.
at your home. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
place to be.
Or
Okay.
wait, no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is stop four of five because I'm going somewhere right
Oh, you
after
got another
this.
stop after
Yes.
this. The
But
Fiserv Forum. Yeah.
yes, I have done this thing where I'll be like, I had a few things rescheduled this week, and I was like, you know what I'll do? I just said, yeah, we can do that Friday. Like, I've got some time on Friday because I know that I don't have any other like meetings
Mm.
usually.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
I pushed everything to Friday, and from like 10 a.m. onward today has been like back to back to back with about like a
Oh,
90
word.
minute gap at most in between.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sounds about
two
right.
two meetings on site, this podcast, and then after that I am also shooting some photos tonight, like Jim said, at
Shooting
Fiserv
buckets
Forum.
and shooting photos. That's
I
that's the
wish they
the
don't
vibe.
they don't let
Yeah.
me on the court at the Bucks games. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well,
This is
there you go.
my
That's
It's my
you
plan to
you
get
you
in
still have
because I can just
eligibility.
walk on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're good. Well, we have a great guest today. I had no transition into that. I'm just gonna start.
You weren't gonna tell us about your sick corner three that you got?
That's right, the corner three. We have a good friend of mine who I've known for years and professionally and personally, and I'm excited to chat with her today. But we have Ceaneh Alexis coming to us from the East Coast today, East Coast time, which is awesome. And Ceaneh has done many things. More specifically, she's the founder of Catapult, which she's going to talk about, but has done a ton of LinkedIn things and also creating a community. And we are excited. So, welcome to our show. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course, of course. Well, let's start off with you, Sienna. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and perhaps get on a bit of a career journey with us. And let's dive right into it.
Well, you may not know this. A little bit about me. So I'm
Mhm.
originally from Liberia, West Africa. So right in
Okay.
between Ivory Coast and Ghana. I'm
Wow.
born and raised there. I actually came to the US in 1998 on a thing called the lottery visa. It is a thing. There's a lottery visa assigned to countries, and my mom won. And yeah, so I went to college here. Started out in New Jersey. Went to Rider University, so the small R, not the big R, Rutgers. And right after college, I started to work for Johnson Johnson. My background was IT. I learned in college I don't like coding. I'm more like the strategy part of technology. So as soon as I got all my coding projects in, I was able to graduate with my computer science degree. I quickly switched on to the strategy side. So worked for J&J for a lot of years in a variety of IT roles, primarily in product development and R&D. So in the pharma sector, moved around with them quite a bit, moved to Jacksonville, worked in their vision care franchise, moved to Warsaw, Indiana, fun little
Mm.
place, worked in their orthopedic friend and franchise. Then I moved to Chicago, Jim. I think that's when we started to cross paths
Yeah.
when I went to work for Abbott. And Tapfen was there. So I kind of fell outside of IT into this procurement human capital space. And that's where I'm thriving now and loving. So after Abbott, I joined Aon. So it was a leap of faith. That was one of my first big transitions from a career standpoint because I've always worked in med device and pharma. I'm a product geek. I'm used to creating physical products. And I moved to a firm that was purely services. So it was quite an adjustment for me the first year, and I able to walk the manufacturing lines. I would see our products in stores. But it was also a phenomenal journey, I think, that rekindled my interest in consulting. Because when I
Mhm.
left J&J for a year, I was an independent consultant in Warsaw, primarily in the supply chain product development space. So I did recall management for a big orthopedic company. So when you have a medical device and it's recalled, you have to track it down. It could be in the warehouse, it could be on the manufacturing lines, it could be in people, it could be in the hospital. So it's all that tracking and bringing it back. So I did that for a year and I decided, you know what, my kids are young, insurance is crazy. I need a regular stream of income. So I found a job. But when I joined Aon, I think it sparked my interest again. And last summer I separated, and then that's when I launched my consulting firm this year.
Mm.
Personal side, I'm a mom of three boys. So I have 17 to 23. We live here in Georgia. My youngest is a senior in high school, so I'm almost done, Jen. I know you're just starting, but I'm excited. We have the college apps done. We're waiting for answers, and next summer he will be off.
That's an exciting place to be. I love that. Yes, and I'm just starting. You're continuing, and here we are. That's really helpful. Just sort of that whole journey. And you're right. We definitely crossed paths while you were in Chicago, and we were doing some work together. Now, you talked about a leap of faith. Changing a little bit and going into an industry that maybe you didn't know about. Was there fear based around that? I think a lot of time, you have an entrepreneur mindset. How did you get over that, perhaps, to go into this new space and did you have doubts about it when you got in and started this new role?
All of the above. There was fear, there was doubt. I actually didn't think I was going to stay there as long as I stayed. I thought this is an interim patch to see what else I want to do, and I ended up being there the longest after J&J. So I think I tell people a lot of times that be open to the unexpected because you never know where the good things are. If I didn't take that leap of faith, I wouldn't have known that, and I probably may not have started my firm from that standpoint. But yeah, it was terrifying. It was different. I didn't understand the lingo. It's all insurance and brokers and risk. I'm not used to that. Half the time, I'm googling before and after the meetings. But you know what? When you work with great people, you just have to ask questions. The team was great. From that standpoint. And I also like the fact that I had a lot of ownership in how I shaped the contingent labor program. So that
Mm-hmm.
was really was in interested me in that role. So I've had
Yeah.
the people, the process, and the technology ownership. So that was really great.
That's awesome. And for people who don't know contingent labor, I know that's it's a bit of a bear of an industry, but contingent all that means is people who are not full-time labor. So
Yeah.
independent contractors, people on payroll, those types of things. Alan, you would be considered a contingent worker for the
I was
work
gonna say
that
there's a
you do.
lot of
So
people that
welcome to
probably
our
fall
space.
under that. Yeah,
Free-
I'm one of you guys. I didn't even
Freelancers.
know it.
Yep.
Uh-huh. That's right. That's right.
That's
So
good.
it's a fun industry. It's, people are, well, we have conferences a lot and people get together, have a great time. But, Sienna, as you're thinking, in this career and doing this, when did this itch start coming to be an entrepreneur, to do your own thing? Was it a long time? Was it like, oh my goodness, a light bulb went off? Talk to us about just taking a journey that's different,
Yeah.
and when that started coming to you.
So I'll say not a lot. But I'll say it was a slow burn because it's been on
Hmm.
my mind for a while. I told you I tried it for a little bit. I got cold feet and I left. So I think it's been on my mind. And I'm at the point in my life where I think I need to get things off my bucket list. I just try it out. If it's not it, and make space in my mind. So my husband's like, "Are you going to do the thing or not?" Because I talked about it every now and then, but I didn't quite do it. So no, it was not like a light bulb went off like, oh, great idea, let's do and do this. It was a slow burn. And before I did it, I also got myself ready mentally, financially, all the leads, because this is not, it's
All the
not
Lees, all of
all
them.
the leads. It's not for the faint and faint of heart. It's very different than working in a job where you have a paycheck every 2 weeks. I mean, I have to
Mhm.
be the salesperson now, the ops person, the finance person. And I like that variety, but it's also different. It's some new muscles that I'm not used to working. So it's been an interesting ride. I'm still having fun and I'm still smiling. So that's great. But yeah, no, it was not like, oh yeah, click and we're gonna do this. I thought about it probably for way too long.
Mm.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
actually, I think that is something that every entrepreneur or everybody with that like entrepreneurial mindset kind of runs into. Like I have Instagram handles reserved for things that never started. You know what I mean? Or maybe like a project that I worked on that might have, been like 2 weeks where I was like really devoted to doing something and I was like, this is gonna be great. And then I just didn't. You know what I mean? Like I just
Right.
lost interest in it or it just never materialized. So that's super relatable that, you thought about this, you tried it and then backpedaled a little bit, but it's always kind of eating at you like, what if I did that thing? You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
Um
And just
make
like you, I also love to buy URLs. So when I have an idea, I buy the URL.
Yep. It's so they're so cheap. You can own so much of the
You
internet
Yeah,
really
now.
could.
why not?
As long as it's
Yeah.
not a common phrase. I cuz I have a .net and the reason that I have a
Yeah.
.net is because the .com is $3,000 at the time when
Oh,
I tried to
okay,
buy it.
okay.
So, and I did not have $3,000 to just throw into an idea. But if it's like 9.99, down. I'll
Down,
totally,
down.
totally will do it. We actually just
That's
did a
great.
bonus episode talking about things that we have spent money on. So that is,
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess,
Well, none
another
of
one
which
of
included
them.
domain name.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all regrettable things, and the domain
Yes.
name is not one of those.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But because you're going back and forth like that, and then eventually making that leap again, do you feel like you were a little more confident the second time that you wanted to launch a business because, you kind of realized what you did and said, okay, how could I do this a little different now?
yeah, I think this time I was more prepared. The last time I just jumped into it. I think I was more prepared. I had thought and thought about it. In fact, the name of my company, I when I was in Chicago, I was actually part of a tech incubator. I was working on a marketplace. It was called Catapult. So I kept all the handles and just rebranded it into this. So yeah, I've always done things and tried things and things out. I think this time around I was ready. Well, you're never ready mentally, so that would be a lie. There was a lot of surprises this year, but I think I was ready. I had thought about it. I knew what I wanted to do, and I told myself I'm going to give myself 12 months. 12
Mm.
months to make it work. And if it's not working, if I hate it, I can always find a job again. So I was more prepared. I didn't just run into the marathon without training. I got some training prior.
For sure. I think that is also, I don't know, I personally how I feel about giving yourself a time limit on it, but I understand that that also motivates you, right?
Right.
Because like for me, I'm 10 years plus into doing this thing,
Yeah.
and still, spinning some wheels sometimes, but then sometimes we move forward. But for you, like to say, okay, I've got a year, especially when it's your main, source of income and everything like that.
Mhm.
Do you think that that kind of pushes you a little bit more to be like, okay, clock's ticking on this?
Yes, because also I'm the sole breadwinner in the family. My husband's retired. So yes, the year was more of we have to make money within this time, unless we
Yeah.
have to find other sources of money that are legal.
That's, yeah. Well, that's great. Let's talk about the illegal ones now.
Yeah, I was gonna say legal,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no.
So
So, Sienna, does the time, because I'm with Alan, like we're like 10 years for me too, where there's
Yeah.
been bumps and bruises along the way, but it's been fun. Did putting a time limit on it take any joy out of it for you, or did you still feel like this is where I want to go? I'm just thinking of like, oh my gosh, I want to enjoy the
In
process.
the
But
in
yeah,
initially it was a lot of stress. I'm a pretty
sure.
type A person anyway, so some of my stress is self-inflicted. So I think it was. I'll say if you spoke to me last summer, I was definitely uptight because things were not going and flowing as I wanted.
Mhm.
Now I'm more relaxed because I'm understanding its ebbs and flows. And it's funny because I coach people a lot. I'm starting to take my own advice. The doctors are the worst patients. Yes. I'm starting to take my own advice and understanding how things are going to be, and I cannot control everything. And really, and I think maybe you and I talked about this, Jim. I'm not
Mhm.
chasing anymore. I'm more of attracting. I'm really being who I am, putting information out that is authentically me, and
Mhm.
really the people who are my people will find me, and I'll filter out the ones that I'm not a fit for.
Totally.
yeah,
I love
Where,
that.
where,
That
whereas, but before, I was just everything. And yeah,
yeah.
all the money is green, but all the money is not great.
Yes, yes, 100%. That takes
yeah,
discipline, by the way. I mean, I can't imagine, you're really taking a bet on yourself and trying to attract the things that you want, and perhaps people are approaching you that you don't aren't a great fit with, and to
Yeah,
have to like say no to something like that, it's got to be difficult, especially when you're really trying to make your way. But that's when I think good things come is when you're like,
yeah,
this is where I'm best served, this is where I want to be, and I know the type of clientele I work the best with. So you
right.
probably find the spaces then in which you're going to attract said people. Yeah. Have you
Yeah,
found that to be a reality too, where you know where you're going to be successful in where you spend your time?
I definitely know that in the beginning I was going to all the networking events and all the conferences, and I'm not
Right.
anymore. One, it's exhausting. I'm not the best with sales and stuff like that. So I'm definitely
Mhm.
being more deliberate in the things that I do, and from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. And tell us what exactly you offer. What type, where are you focusing? You have coaching, you have, kind of consulting. What in a couple words or sentences, what are you doing for your clients, and how are you helping them? And then we'll talk a little bit about what you're starting to create too, and some of the community aspects that you're going for.
Yeah, so I say we are a workforce or talent and technology advisory firm, and we have really
Mhm.
three verticals. We have our talent, our tech, and our procurement vertical. And our talent vertical is really workforce development, contingent labor, talent end-to-end strategy from that standpoint. In the tech side, we focus on HR tech and procurement tech. So it's tech stack optimization, tech and tech strategy. We'll probably start to get into implementation, but not yet so far, but something that we can do. And then in the procurement arm, I've worked in procurement for years, so it's really procurement strategy, category management, anything on the indirect side of
Mm-hmm.
procurement. Um,
Excellent, excellent.
Very cool.
And
Yeah.
in terms of what you're creating, so I know you and I have had the chance to collaborate a little bit. I know you're starting to think about is a LinkedIn space the best place, or is a newsletter? Tell us about how you're getting thoughts out, and really the brand that you're making. I think
yeah.
is really pivotal to what you're doing. So talk us through a little bit of that and what type of efforts gone into creating those things.
Yeah, so I think, and I was just talking to someone about this. So
Hmm.
I tell people we live in a world that wants specialists, but I'm not a specialist. I'm a multi-passionate person. And I've worked in a lot of functions and I'm
Hmm.
good at several things. So it's hard to put me in a box. And I think that's also some of the challenges I've had with my consulting firm because people want the best doctor, the best this. And I want to say, yes, that's great, but as the world is changing, probably maybe having a multifaceted view is better. But we'll see if the market bears to that or not. So that's who I am. I'm really like in a lot of spaces. And what I've been doing, Jim, is trying to merge my personal passion of leadership development and mindset with my consulting firm and how that comes together from
Totally.
that standpoint. So yeah, I started years ago, probably 2.5 years ago. I started just writing on LinkedIn. Want to give up my fear of writing and
Yeah.
being comfortable building in public and trying to put things out without them being
Hmm.
and fully baked. And the Mindset Monday kind of just grew to a following. So then I launched the LinkedIn group. We have about 82 people in the group this year.
Hmm.
But I saw that's not the best option for engagement. And people also want to dive deeper into topics beyond like a LinkedIn post. So I haven't told anyone yet, but so I'm going to announce it here.
Ooh,
February
an exclusive.
2026, I'm launching a newsletter and it's called No Permission Needed. So I'm
Oh.
really excited about that. I'm going to be announcing that on LinkedIn soon because I think people are not really interacting with LinkedIn. Also, LinkedIn is just so oversaturated. So I really want to get to
Yes.
people who want more information and have them
Hmm.
opt in. So I'll start as a bi-monthly, twice a month, and see where we go from there. But again, it's back to my thing is building in public, putting it out early. I did the LinkedIn group. It's not really what I wanted. And my core group is not what they needed. They said they want to dive in more. So we'll do the newsletter and probably do some lives in
Awesome.
2026 and see how it evolves into something else.
For
All
sure. I
right.
love that we got
That's
the exclusive
You
announcement
got the
here
love
exclusive.
that.
Now I'm going to have to
first.
say the exclusive announcement.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Jim, this is where in like post production we got to add like air horns and
That's
Oh,
fireworks and
wow.
whatever.
yeah, we're gonna do a thing. We're gonna do a thing, 100%.
I'm gonna forget to do the thing, but yes, but
I
we'll
love
we'll
it.
say we would. It just
Yes, yes.
you heard it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Tell us
Um, yeah.
so
Go
let
ahead.
me just real quick, the name, no permission needed. That's got some zest onto it. How did you come up with that? First, I love it. I think it's like the coolest. Where did that stem from? Then how did you come to that name?
You know, a lot of the writing I do for me is therapeutic. I call it public journaling, really. I just write things that come to my heart as I'm walking around or interacting with people. And in the beginning, I was quite surprised that other people felt the same way. And I think a lot of people are caught in this where they're doing things that is expected and not
Mhm.
what they want to do. And I was that in that way. And I'm at a place in my life where I'm doing what I want to do. I'm bringing me as I want to be and not trying to fit in a space that may or may not be the best for me. So it's really about learning how we can lead us in
Mhm.
order to lead others better is what I say. Because if you're not good at it, then you also project the bad onto us. So whether you're a
Right.
business owner, whether you're a leader of people, whether you're a parent, it all starts with you. And you don't need permission to do it.
Mhm.
You just got to
Mhm.
do it. And then once you do that, it kind of spreads.
I love that. I have a
Yeah.
shirt that says "Stop doubting, start doing," and I feel
Love
like
it.
There we
that would go
go.
well. Yeah.
That's the subhead underneath the no
Right.
permission needed.
Yes.
There you
Yeah.
go. We're gonna develop this thing. We'll make it into a thing.
Yes.
I do want to talk too about like when, let's talk about the good moments too of building your business, creating something for yourself. Because you gave yourself a year, when was like the first moment that the momentum really started to pick up that you were like, oh, I've got something here? That you really started to feel confident about what you're creating, and how'd you recognize that?
Yeah, so I'll say it started late summer because I last year I didn't do much. I think I was hanging out, went to some conferences. My husband was like, "So are you working a business or are you retired?" So I said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna start work for real." So I think I started for real in January. And in retrospect, maybe that black time when I wasn't doing anything I should have because I was starting from scratch. I had left my job, went on vacation,
Hmm.
hung out. I didn't really do much. So then I kind of lost traction from 24 to 25. So it didn't start to click for me till late this year, like late summer. And I think one of the things I also noticed was I expected that I would work with this group of people. But it turns out that once I opened my funnel and was open to new things, a lot of things I'm doing are not what I thought I would be doing. So
Hmm.
just being open to other things. And I was talking to someone at a networking event a week ago. I said, when you're in a job, the job tells you this is your title, and you have to stay in this box in this lane because you're part of a system and you have to do that. When you
Yeah.
run your business or you're a freelancer, you can be anything. I can decide tomorrow I'm going to be a musician. If I can sing well or play an instrument, people like it, I can be that. So for a long time, I was stuck in what my experience was and not really what the skills that I had and what other opportunities exist. And once I threw away, and I'm still working on it, I think it takes time to really adjust your mental model from corporate person to business person. I think it's
Hmm.
an evolution, but I think it started to click for me when I started to let go of the constraints and started acting like a business owner, not an employee.
Yes,
Yeah.
very sure. I think that's something that too, like a lot of people, because they set those mental boundaries for themselves, like I am this, they
Mhm.
don't recognize when something is working elsewhere, right?
Hmm.
So for me, like in terms of creating content and doing all the things I do, like I was very dead set on a very long time being like, okay, I need, this production value, or it needs to look like this, or I'm gonna, have this really big elaborate setup for this video I'm gonna make, and it doesn't look good unless like the light is right and all this stuff. And then like the most successful or the most viewed thing I've done was literally something where I just put my phone up on my
Right.
dashboard of my car and drove.
Yeah.
Then like that is the most viewed thing I have ever created in my life
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
caught on the algorithm and took off and whatever.
Yeah.
So like when you realize like, oh, it doesn't need to be like that thing I've set in my mind, but I
Yeah.
have to do, just put the thing out there. I think that's what opens up a lot. So I think you're
Yeah.
in that space too of when you
Yeah.
can recognize something is working, being able to go and pivot and dive into that is something that is not easy to do for a lot of people, but you're doing it.
Yeah.
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 One thing I found, this kind of, Alan, this goes with your story there. Like people don't relate to perfect. They relate to authentic. So if
Mhm.
you're trying to put out something and it does not have to be perfect, and it really shouldn't
Yeah.
be. There's no such
Yeah.
thing. And when you're trying to be too buttoned up and too, everything is awesome, that's not what humans do. And I,
Correct.
Hmm.
I find, like if I'm speaking to a group of people and I make a mistake, just own up to it. Like make fun of yourself and move
Mhm.
on. And the more we put out there that's that way, I think the more relatable. Like people, that's what a human does. You're not a robot, and you
Yeah.
create things. And I think, Shannon, you do a lot of that. It's a very, it's personhood. This is what we all go through, and you don't have to apologize for what you've experienced or what you've done. To
Mhm.
kind of come with it. And that's a really important part. And I don't think we get enough of that, particularly in the industry that we're in, but just kind of
Yeah.
generally, as we're creating content, like just throw it out there. I do this all the time. Like if I'm feeling a certain way, like I'll write something up and I'll put it out there. And if it catches, great. If not, then fair enough. But it's how
Yeah.
I feel. And I won't lie about how I feel. And that's hard. It's hard to do, by the way. I mean, when you
It's
put
hard
something
to
out
do.
there.
And I wasn't always that way.
Yeah,
I always was control the narrative,
sure.
yeah. And maybe it was upbringing, who knows? But yeah, I wasn't always that way, but it's also more freeing now because I don't have to
Oh,
worry about
totally.
it. And I really don't care as much if it's not your thing, just keep scrolling, you know? That means
Yeah.
not for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. And it's like, throw it out there. Yeah, people don't like it, then don't communicate with it. It's, it's okay, or it's not their cup of tea. But the more you are, authentic in that space, I think the better,
Mhm.
and people will catch on. And then you don't gotta overthink stuff, right? Just put it out
Yeah,
there, how you feel, and have at it. And
yeah.
and keep getting better, keep growing. But that's the name of the game.
But that's how you
Now,
do it
I would
too.
also add, I think you also
Mhm.
attract the wrong people if you don't put your true self. And I was put up in places, yeah. You just want, yeah, you want to find your peeps. Life is too exhausting not to.
If that isn't the motto of today, life's too exhausting if you don't, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Um, what is the kind of the immediate focus for you? Of course, for the rest of your year here doing this and trying this out, like what's the focus? Where do you want to take things?
So on the business side, I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid. I really got to get my operations in
Mhm.
check because we have some bigger things coming up next year. So just getting repeatable. I'm a go with the flow kind of person. Even when I'm cooking, I don't do the same thing twice. I don't write anything down. My mom gets frustrated, like, so what are the steps? I say, I don't know what happened. So I have to start to document what happened and make it repeatable. So I'm working smarter and not harder.
Mhm.
Another thing I'm doing is because I'm a tech geek, I buy a lot of software. So I really have to unsubscribe to free up some cash.
We literally again
We
just
just
talked
talked
about
about
this.
this.
Yes, no URLs, Alan, no hand.
I'm like 3 AI subscriptions in right now that are all like $20 a month.
Yes,
And
same here.
one of them have to go. I know one of
Yes.
them do, but I use them all for different things and I got to
Yeah.
figure it out. So yes,
Yeah, so my
I
goal
or
is to
trying to.
I need to free out some software because I want to get like hire like a virtual assistant just for some admin stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
can do that if I just move like 3 or 4 things that I'm not using off the list. And then on the personal side, starting to work on my content for this newsletter. I need to start promoting it or something like create a landing page and get it out there.
Mhm.
But I'm
Mhm.
excited about 26. I'm excited about
Yeah.
one. I'm proud of myself for getting through this year and not
Yeah.
jumping off a cliff, although in where I am, there are no cliffs nearby.
That does
Check
help. That
again.
does help. Yeah,
I do go on a lot of hikes. We're next to a state park, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
just focusing on getting the operations right. I'm more of a visionary person, and I like to just run and vision. But now, because it's just me so far, I need to really get the plumbing right
Yes.
so that
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah.
for sure.
What's
I have oh sorry, I got one
no, go
question
ahead.
real quick and it's something that we don't ask a lot of entrepreneurs. I don't think we've ever asked it on this really. Where do you brainstorm? Where do you think about things? Is it when you take those walks or is it like where do you come up with ideas?
All over. I'm an auditory person, so I have a lot of voice notes, maybe some that I haven't listened to, a lot of voice notes when I'm walking. I talk to Siri. I could be in the gym and I listen to music and something sparks my mind there. So I get a lot of my thoughts on walks or in the gym, maybe in the shower. Yeah.
Sure. Very
That's a
cool.
good place to do it. Once you can get your mind free, that's the best part. And I do think a lot of people have their own spaces. I mean, I've heard from folks, that they only do it, on a run, or that they do it when they're grocery shopping. Like, whatever they need to do to be like a mindless thing to like finally get right
Mhm.
is a good spot. But it's important to have your space. I think if
Yeah.
a good call for people who don't, like, find that area where you can actually get stuff done, and and really dive in. I'm also curious too, like, as you've done this, reaction from people. I know we share a lot of the same circles.
Mhm.
What were folks when they heard that you were doing this, or kind of got a first glimpse? Was it mostly positive, or people have questions? What were maybe some of the first questions you got of, like, what are you doing, or like, are you out of your mind, or what were people's reactions to you doing this, and just how
Well,
did that
a
whole
lot of
process?
people thought I was out of my mind because I had a very good job. I was paid very well. I had the
Sure.
golden handcuffs, all that. So it was crazy. Even I can't believe I did that. But you know what? Yeah, so my husband has always been supportive. I think he's my biggest cheerleader. Some people in my family was like, really, you're gonna do that? But my mom, because she's more traditional, so you don't have a job, but you're not gonna find a new one. And
That's
but then
great.
on the industry side, I think our industry is at a point where there's a lot of independence coming about. So the support network was there from where we are in our industry. I think so. Just a lot of consulting. I think it's
Hmm.
been an interesting year from an economy standpoint. Like for example, I assumed I would work with a lot of enterprise companies. It hasn't been that way. It's been more mid-sized and small. So
Hmm.
it's been an untraditional year in many senses,
Right. Right.
from that standpoint, and it's been
Yeah.
mixed review. I think in initially I was like, "Wow, why are you doing that?" But then once you find people who are going through the same things with you, you can call them up, be like, "I had this day," or I call after you've done like 50 emails in the HubSpot and your brain is fried. You can call your
Hmm.
friend who's doing the same thing, and you guys can talk about it. So
That's right.
um,
That's
it
right. Yeah.
it takes a village.
I love it. And let me go with your 12-month timeline for this next question. So let's think about November 14th, 2026. Where do you want to be this time next year? What do you hope you've accomplished? I know perhaps the newsletter is part of this, but just sort of as you're thinking broadly in that many days, where do you hope you stand on that date
So
next
I'd
year?
say by November, I definitely hope that I have a more consistent approach for client acquisition, because that's something that I'm
Mm,
working on now, just
yep.
so that my pipeline is not so erratic. My goal is to bring some FTE on probably by 27. I'd love to do like an internship for like a student locally, getting more involved in the community. So I definitely, and my whole goal of this business is just not to do it, but my goal is, I tell myself in the mirror, the cycle ends with me. I'm going to build wealth that will live after I'm gone.
Hmm.
So, and when we're younger, like, oh, money is bad. You don't want money. No, I do love money, because when you have money, you can help your community, you can help your family. So my goal is to build this so I can really, in 26, I'd love to be planning to hire two interns in 27 from a local college to get them exposed to what I do, because also I also believe representation matters, and people need to see people who look like them doing certain
Hmm.
things so they know that it's possible, from that standpoint. So
Yeah.
I hope that's where I am.
Awesome.
Very
I hope
cool.
you are too. I
Yeah,
hope it gets there
we're
and
rooting for you.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
good stuff coming. Yeah, absolutely.
for sure. Well, thank you for coming on and doing this and joining us here on a Friday when we're taping, a Friday night. And this is, I know you said it's your last one for today. Have you been doing bunches of podcasts just to, get the word out?
Yeah, so this I've only done one other one this year, the Bus Clan one. So I knew a lady in the industry. They just started a new one. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I haven't done
Very
the
cool.
last one I did was last year with Jim
Yeah.
Handy. Yeah. So that's been a while. But no, I haven't done a lot. I do like speaking. For a long time I didn't speak.
Mhm.
I stuttered. I still do when a lot when I was a kid. So I didn't really talk a lot.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. We go with the
Go
flow.
after
We
it.
Love
don't
it.
let things hold us back, because there's no permission needed. So we just kind of
That's
do
right.
it.
There you
For
go.
sure.
Bring it right
Well,
back to it.
where is the best place to go ahead and find you and follow you online and follow the journey that you're on?
Sure, you can find me on LinkedIn. My name, Ceaneh Alexis, or follow Catapult. We're on all the social channels. But X is
Very
there. We
cool.
don't post anything, but we're on. We do have the handle, Alan. We have it covered.
See, there we go. I'm telling you, you lock down
Just
those
gotta
social
grab the
handles.
handles. You never know. I mean, I
That's
have
right. You
a.
got to take it.
Exactly.
Take it.
Got to do
Awesome.
it. Well, in the meantime, we are the Hustling Sideways podcast. So if you're listening for the first time, thank you. If you're listening for the 112th time, thank you, or beyond that. We are available wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch this show on YouTube. You can watch it on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We're on X. We're on all of the places. Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we are on it as well. Just look for Hustling Sideways. If you want to be a guest on this show and join me and Jim in this room or virtually like we're doing today, you can do that. Send us an email. It is hustlingsideways@gmail.com. And Jim,
Keep on hustling.
we'll see you next week.
Peace.